What's up, YouTube? We're on the last SmackDown for the road to WrestleMania. WrestleMania 29, the first pay-per-view of the series, the first WrestleMania of the series. And we got the B-Show to get through first. So let's get this B-Show over with and we can get on the actual SmackDown. Alright, so we start the show with a pre-show dark match with Laycool taking on the random team of Maxine and Amber O'Neil, with Amber O'Neil getting pinned by a Styles Clash from Michelle McCool. Michelle McCool, I wanted to see how she would do. She got an 80, Layla an 84, so that's pretty good. Glad to see Laycool can still hit it ahead of WrestleMania, where they're going to take on the Bella Twins. So, that's good. As we get in the main show, we have a generic little promo with Dolph Ziggler and Christian. Kind of the same thing, Dolph Ziggler is just hyping up his match with Christian, hyping up his Royal Rumble win, and promises he's going to take the title at WrestleMania. We have a decent little match here. We have Ezekiel Jackson taking on Heath Slater, with Ezekiel taking out Heath with the Book of Ezekiel, just to get Ezekiel and Heath on the card. Thought that would be cool. Next, we got an actual promo between Laycool and the Bellas. They're shown backstage, and they get into a small confrontation. Pretty generic one at that. Sorry, something in my throat there. Yeah, pretty much just, like I said, trying to hype this match up. This should be pretty decent. Like I said, it's probably going to be on the pre-show, because there's just so many matches on the main card. But, yeah, I think it'll be a good match regardless. We have another random match between the Motor City Machines taking on Pride and Honor, Jay Lethal and Richie Steamboat. What's it called? Sabin hits the Made in Detroit on Jay Lethal for the win. And both teams did pretty good. Pretty good to see Richie and Lethal getting over, as well as the Motor City Machines as over as they are right now, which is always good. It'll be good for them when they move on to their main match at WrestleMania. We're hyping up our next match, our final match of the evening, between Daniel Bryan and John Morrison for the evening. We'll cut to that. And match would have been better if it's good to see that they got what's it called? Excuse me, sorry, I have something in my throat. Good chemistry. We could probably do this match later on. Only got an 82 because there's no storyline, but I didn't really feel like adding like a Miz run in. And then we just get a Rock and CM Punk promo. Really, it lost heat. It's your story's that good when it's lost heat. Let's end the show there. 88B plus. Sorry, I kind of rushed through this one. I'm just kind of getting onto SmackDown. More excited about that one than the B show, but I'll see you for that B show. That's SmackDown right next. Alright, we got the last SmackDown, folks. Let's get right into it. Christian, Ziggler, Shawn Michaels mediating a face-off between the two. Christian doesn't really say too much. He gets a few words in there. My headphones just fell. I hate my life. And Dolph Ziggler's just goading Christian, telling him he's old, telling him he's going to retire soon, saying that he's going to retire after WrestleMania when he gets beat. Pretty much just going after the cheap shots as he can, trying to get Christian to have a match today, whereas he won't have a match, Ziggler. And Shawn Michaels just sees like, you know what, this has gone on long enough after a bit, and everybody walks back with Dolph Ziggler still trying to just goad Christian. So I'll have to see if that goes anywhere later tonight. A pretty decent match, but for the Intercontinental Championship, Goldust defends against a triple threat, Kurt Hawkins and Sin Cara. Goldust hits Kurt Hawkins with the suplex snap neckbreaker. I believe that's the final cut. He hits the final cut on Kurt Hawkins to retain his title. And yeah, pretty decent match. Better than I expected it could be. So, The Undertaker. The Undertaker set to take on Ryback. Comes out. And instead of, instead of doing his usual druid gimmick where he walks down, is just bowled over by Ryback. Ryback picks him up. I like to sing power slams him. No, actually, he probably gives him the shell shock right onto the stage. People are gasping. They're in shock. Ryback has gotten one over on the... A lot of people aren't counting on Ryback to win, but when he's just taken out someone as legendary as The Undertaker, you gotta imagine that's gonna go somewhere. We got SmackDown's Money in the Bank participants backstage: Sheamus, Daniel Bryan, and Alberto Del Rio. Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus are getting into it with Daniel Bryan coming in. Daniel and Alberto remind Sheamus that they have won Money in the Bank before, and they could easily do it again, where Sheamus says that reason is exactly why Sheamus is going to become Mr. Money in the Bank, and he's going to cash it in for either Dolph or Christian's World Heavyweight Championship, putting over, that match that's going to happen at some point. Next, we get an alright match between Layla and Nikki Bella. Kind of better, not as good as I wanted it to be, but what can you do? I feel like they're better in tag teams than on separate. Layla hits Nikki Bella with a facelift in about 19 minutes. Then we cut backstage, and Dolph Ziggler's still goading in Christian. Christian finally snaps, saying, "Fine, I'll have a match tonight, whoever you want it to be." Dolph Ziggler smirks as Mark Henry comes and just cheap shots Christian, saying that Christian's finally he's gonna get revenge on Christian for taking that World Heavyweight Championship all those months ago and put him in the Hall of Pain. We haven't seen Mark Henry. He wasn't injured. He just hasn't been on TV that much. So we'll have to see that. That match is up. 94A. Couldn't ask for better. Christian hits Mark Henry with the spear. Dolph Ziggler distracts Christian at the same time, leading us to our final event of the evening, in which we have Dolph Ziggler, the young man, that young knockout kid of Chris Hero, since Chris Hero's not on SmackDown technically. Christian, the World Heavyweight Champion. Ziggler, a Royal Rumble winner. Christian, the veteran. Dolph Ziggler, the number one contender. Will Dolph Ziggler prove that he deserves to be in the main event, or will Christian ultimately retain his title? We'll have to see come WrestleMania. 93A, I like that. I like that rating. It's all right. And ladies and gentlemen, we're about to hit WrestleMania. WrestleMania 29, the first WrestleMania of the series. Definitely not the last. I'm excited. I hope you're all excited. I'll see you there.